The transmission crackled across the void, reaching Earth's orbital defense stations with all the ceremonial weight its senders intended. Ambassador Krell of the Dominion fleet adjusted his ceremonial armor, his 4 eyes gleaming with what his species considered righteous fury. Behind him, the assembled war council of 12 different alien species stood in formation, their varied forms united in their shared conviction. People of Earth, Krell's voice boomed through the communication array, translated into perfect, standard human. For too long, your kind has spread across the galaxy like a plague. Your commerce disrupts our ancient trade routes. Your colonies expand without regard for sacred boundaries. Your very existence mocks the natural order that has governed space for millennia, before your species crawled from its primitive world. The alien commander paused dramatically, allowing his words to sink in across the light years. We, the Galactic Dominion, hereby declare war upon humanity. You have 7 solar rotations to surrender unconditionally or face the combined might of our armadas. We possess weapons that can crack planets, shields that deflect stars, and warriors bred for conquest across 1,000 worlds. On Luna Station, traffic controller Jake Morrison nearly choked on his coffee as the message played across the communication hub. He glanced at his colleague Emma, who was busy coordinating the departure of the afternoon freight convoy to the Centauri system. Did that lizard thing just declare war on us? Jake asked, wiping coffee from his uniform. Emma looked up from her holographic displays, where hundreds of civilian and commercial vessels moved in orderly patterns across local space. Yeah, I think so. Something about 7 rotations, that's like a week, right? Should we, I don't know, alert someone? Jake scratched his head, genuinely puzzled. I mean, who do you even call for something like this? The military? The president? My supervisor? The message had been broadcast on all channels, so by the time Jake finished, his coffee reaction videos were already flooding the galactic network. A group of teenagers on Mars Colony had made a response video titled, "Aliens Threaten Earth, Our Reaction," complete with exaggerated gasps and commentary about the aliens' really extra delivery style. Dr. Marcus Webb, Earth's chief of xenobiology, received the formal diplomatic copy of the declaration while giving a lecture to graduate students about peaceful first contact protocols. He paused mid-sentence, read the message on his tablet, then looked up at his class with an expression of bewildered amusement. Well, this is interesting, he said, projecting the alien ultimatum onto the classroom display. It appears we've received our first interstellar declaration of war. Let's analyze this from an anthropological perspective, shall we? One student raised her hand. Professor, shouldn't we be scared? They mentioned planet-cracking weapons. Doctor. Webb chuckled. My dear, humanity hasn't fought a proper war in over 8 centuries. We've spent that time building, exploring, creating art, advancing science, and generally having a good time spreading across the galaxy. These aliens seem to think we're some kind of military threat. But our biggest weapons these days are mining lasers and asteroid deflection systems. Meanwhile, on the Dominion flagship, Krell waited for humanity's terrified response. His tactical displays showed human activity across dozens of star systems. Surely they were mobilizing their hidden war fleets, preparing their secret weapons, rallying their military might for the coming conflict. Instead, the first official response came from Earth's Department of Interstellar Relations, sent by Deputy Administrator Tom Chen, a middle-aged bureaucrat who handled most alien contact protocols. Dear Galactic Dominion, the message began with bureaucratic politeness. Thank you for your recent communication regarding your declaration of war against humanity. We appreciate you following proper diplomatic channels and providing advance notice. However, we must inform you that we currently have no military capable of engaging in interstellar warfare, as we disbanded our last combat forces approximately 900 years ago. If you wish to proceed with hostilities, we recommend you contact our historical military museum on Europa, as they maintain the only remaining weapons from our warlike period, though most are display pieces and likely non-functional. Please, allow 2-3 business days for a response as the museum staff works part-time. Sincerely, Deputy Administrator Tom Chen, Department of Interstellar Relations. The message was CC'd to the Tourism Board, who immediately began drafting marketing materials. Visit Earth, now with 100% more galactic drama, Commander Lisa Park of the Luna Defense Grid, which primarily existed to clear space debris and guide traffic, called an emergency meeting with her staff of 12. They gathered in the break room because their briefing room was being used as storage for hydroponics equipment. "All right, people," Lisa said, consulting her tablet. "Apparently we're at war. Does anyone know where we keep the war manual?" Her deputy, a young man named Alex, raised his hand tentatively. "Ma'am, I don't think we have a war manual. The closest thing might be the emergency asteroid deflection protocol." "Right." Lisa nodded thoughtfully. "Well, these aliens mentioned planet cracking. Weapons. That sounds like a really big asteroid, doesn't it? Alex, dust off the deflection protocols. If they start shooting planets at us, we'll deflect them back." The news of humanity's casual response to the war declaration spread faster than the original threat. Social media exploded with memes featuring dramatic alien warriors juxtaposed with humans going about their daily lives. "Alien War Who Cares" began trending alongside recipe videos and cat pictures. On the farming colony of New Kansas, settler Beth Williams was harvesting her prize-winning tomatoes when her neighbor ran over with news of the war. "Beth, did you hear? Aliens declared war on us." Beth looked up from her tomato plants, shading her eyes against the twin suns. "That's nice, dear. Do you think they'd want to try some tomatoes? I grew way too many this season." Back on the Dominion flagship, Krell stared at the human responses with growing confusion. Where was the fear? Where were the desperate pleas for mercy? Where were the mobilizing war fleets his scouts had assured him would appear? Instead, he watched human cargo ships continue their regular routes, saw families on vacation cruises photographing nebulae, observed students attending universities on distant worlds as if nothing had changed. His second-in-command, a crystalline being called Nexus, approached cautiously. "Commander, our intelligence networks report that humans are laughing at us. They appear to consider our declaration of war amusing." Krell's four eyes narrowed. Either humanity possessed the most sophisticated psychological warfare capabilities in the galaxy, or they were exactly what they appeared to be. A peaceful species so far removed from warfare that they literally didn't know how to take a threat seriously. The realization hit him like a meteor. After 1,000 years of peace, humanity hadn't just forgotten how to make war. They'd forgotten war was something to be feared. They faced the prospect of galactic conflict with the same mild interest they might show to an unusual weather pattern. For the first time in his military career, Admiral Krell of the mighty Galactic Dominion began to wonder if maybe, just maybe, they were the ones who had misunderstood something fundamental about the nature of strength.